Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Zoom lecture. On the behalf of Scientific Committee of Ibn Sina Hospital Physiotherapy Department, I'm glad to introduce our colleague Batoul Ali Hassan, Senior Practitioner Physiotherapist from Jabir Hospital, who is currently working in the unit of ICU in Jabir Hospital, and she has an experience in working with pediatric. So welcome, Batoul. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, hello. أهلا Ala.
Hello. You can start share your screen.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Batoul Mohammad. Thank you for the introduction, Ala. I'm sure that in the past year and a half, most of us as healthcare providers felt exhausted, distressed, even burned out without realizing it. So today I'm going to put a highlight on what is burnout, what causes it, and how we can deal with it. But before I start, let me ask you this question, and I want you to share your answers. Escape from where you are right now and think about where you want to be. If you could be anywhere, anytime, any place. Just you can write your answer in the text box, or just unmute yourself and tell me. Anyone? So I want you just to daydream it, picture it, and you can also start planning it from now. I'm sure that someday it will happen. Okay, so COVID-19, the global pandemic, has changed the way we live and work. Amid the prolonged struggles against COVID-19, burnout of the frontline healthcare professionals has become a significant concern. Research has shown the prevalence of burnout to be more than 40%. The highest rates was in frontline healthcare providers such as emergency medicine, primary care, and critical care. A survey, just a second. A survey by the Society of Critical Care Medicine of nearly 9,500 critical care providers showed that the median of stress levels has increased from 3 to 8 during the COVID-19 ongoing pandemic. So when we hear the word burnout, what is burnout? Actually, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet your constant daily demands. It reduces your productivity and negatively affects your life. Burnout is a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can creep up on you. Early symptoms are like red flags. You should observe yourself, and then you will realize that something is wrong. You don't feel your active, energetic self. So it has stages. Stage 1 is the honeymoon phase. This is when you start a new task. When we start a new task, we often begin experiencing high job satisfaction, like when Corona first came into Kuwait. Like it's a new task for everyone. So we will experience high job satisfaction, commitment, energy, and creativity. Common symptoms in this stage will be commitment to the job at hand, compulsion to prove oneself, free-flowing creativity, and high productive levels. In this stage, we may experience predicted stresses. In stage 2, which is the onset of stress. It is when you start to be aware that some days are more difficult than others. This is where stage 2 actually begins. You may notice stress symptoms affecting you physically, mentally, and even emotionally. Common symptoms in this stage are high blood pressure, inability to focus, job dissatisfaction, lower productivity, frequent headaches, anxiety and fatigue, irritability, lack of sleep, general neglect of personal needs, and forgetfulness. In stage 3, which is the chronic stress stage, it is marked change in your stress levels. More intense symptoms will be there. Common symptoms will be lack of hobbies, persistent fatigue in the morning, social withdrawal, feeling out of control and panicked, repeated lateness from work and missing work target, physical illness, you will be chronically exhausted, and you may increase drug, alcohol, and caffeine consumption. In the stage 4, like when you enter stage 4, this is the burnout itself, where symptoms become more critical. You cannot continue to be as normal. You cannot be yourself in this stage, as it becomes increasingly difficult to cope. This is where you have to seek intervention. Common symptoms are development of escapist mentality, obsession over work and life problems, self-doubt and social isolation. You will have behavioral changes. You will feel empty from the inside. Your physical symptoms may increase, and you will have a complete neglect of your personal needs. In stage 5, which is the habitual burnout, this means that the symptoms of burnout are so embedded in your life that you get used to it, that you are more likely to experience a significant ongoing mental, physical, and emotional complications if not treated. I'm sure while I was talking, you might question yourself, how would I know if I was stressed or burned out? Sometimes burnout may be the result of unrelenting stress. But here are some differences that may help. Stress is characterized by over-engagement, whereas burnout is characterized by disengagement. When you're stressed, your emotions are overactive. When you're burned out, your emotions will be blunted. Stress will produce urgency and hyperactivity, whereas burnout produces helplessness and hopelessness. When you're stressed, you will lose your energy, and when you're burned out, you will lose your motivation. Stress, if not treated, it will lead to anxiety disorders, and burnout, if you don't deal with it, it will lead to depression. The primary damage in stress is physical, and the primary damage with burnout is emotional. Put in mind that stressed people can still imagine if they can just get everything under control, they will feel better, while burned out people, they cannot. Now we will come to the causes of burnout. Burnout often stems from your work, but burnout is not solely caused by stressful work environment and responsibilities. Other factors may contribute, like not everybody will get burnout if they're stressed at work, including your lifestyle and personality traits. So the work-related causes are heavy workload, lack of control over work, lack of staff, conflicts with co-workers, rapid institutional changes, working in a chaotic or high-pressure environment, like in the ICU with end-of-life events, the lifestyle and personality traits that may like put you in risk of burnout, like working too much without socializing, lack of close supportive relationships, perfectionistic tendencies, the need to be in control, a high achieving personality, and maladaptive coping mechanisms. Now, how can we measure or detect burnout? There is this scale which is called the Maslach Burnout Inventory, MBI. It is reliable and valid. It is like a self-reported questionnaire consisting of 22 items, and it has 3 independently scored dimensions, which are the emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and decreased sense of accomplishment. The questionnaire will classify your feelings into 7-point Likert scale from 0 to 6, like how frequently you feel or experience each item. It's like 0 to 6. 0 is never, and 1 is at least a few times a year. 2 is at least once a month. 3 several times a month. 4 once a week, and 5 several times a week, and 6 is every day. As I mentioned, it consists of three dimensions. Number 1 is the emotional exhaustion. The emotional exhaustion scale consists of 9 items from the inventory itself. It will identify individuals who are emotionally exhausted. It is typically connected to a relationship with your work that it is perceived as difficult and tiring, stressful. The depersonalization is the loss of empathy. It will identify those who have impersonal response to patients they are taking care of by keeping a greater emotional distance. Or, for example, like when you lose regard from your colleagues, and it consists of 5 items. The third assessment is the lack of personal accomplishment, and it consists of 8 items from the scale, and it will assess the lack of accomplishment and success related to your job. Each scale is scored separately, like high, moderate, and low. Be aware if the total of your emotional exhaustion and the depersonalization answers are both in the red area. Last week, I collected the data via online questionnaire and for the Ibn Sina Physical Therapy Department, and the results of their scores were the majority of staff has low to moderate emotional exhaustion, as shown. And when it comes to the depersonalization, the results showed low to moderate, also loss of empathy. Also, subjects has a moderate to high lack of accomplishment. The average of all scores, as you can see, the average all is moderate, which means that most of the subjects are having some stress symptoms that may lead to burnout if not dealt with and contained. So now that we've established the meaning of burnout, causes of burnout, how can we deal with it? Dealing with this issue is the responsibility of the individual himself and the organization. As an individual, first you should recognize what burnout is and observe your red flags and warning signs in the stages I've mentioned. Because most people who are burned out have no idea what they're going through. They literally don't know what they're being through. They're burned out, but they don't know it. And I was one of them. After that, you may reserve the adverse effect by seeking professional support. Then you can take care of your emotional and physical health by learning how to become resilient. Now I'm going to give you some tips that help me dealing with burnout. First of all, please socialize. Turn out to other people. Reach for family and friends. They're there just to be with you. Be more sociable with co-workers. Limit your contact with negative people. And remember, it is never late to make new friends. Reframe the way you look at work. Try to find value in your job. Find balance in your life. And take time off if possible. Reevaluate your priorities. Set boundaries. Learn how to say no. Take a daily break from technology and social media news. Nourish your creative side. Do something that you like. Set aside relaxation time. Like you can do yoga, for example. Get plenty of sleep. I know they're simple tips, but believe me, when you do them, it's gonna change your life. Make exercise a priority. I know you're gonna say, oh, we don't have time for that. Believe me, you do. Work out at least 30 minutes per day. Any workout you enjoy, 30 minutes, do it. Because research has shown that high intensity interval training improves the physical and psychological health, leaving a positive effect on mood states in subjects, accompanied by a feeling of satisfaction at end. And finally, support your mood and energy levels with a healthy diet. You can minimize sugar and refined carbs intake because they will quickly lead to crash in your mood and energy. Avoid nicotine. As we all know, nicotine is a powerful stimulant, leading to higher levels of anxiety. Eat more omega-3 fatty acids. It will boost your mood. So if you try to do all of those tips I mentioned and all failed, this is the time you might consider meeting a professional. Professional support may vary from prevention strategies to stress coping mechanisms. Personally, my therapist suggested for me to practice a cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a psychosocial intervention, focuses on changing your cognitive behavior by improving emotional regulation and developing new personal coping strategies. And when we come to the organizational intervention, the American Association of Critical Care Nurses has identified 6 standards to establish a healthy work environment and prevent the staff from being burned out. Those are the 6 standards. Number 1 is having skilled communication, collaborations, effective decision-making, appropriate staffing, meaningful recognition, and authentic leadership. Bear in mind that being helpful to others provides immense pleasure and can help significantly reduce stress, as well as it will broaden your social circle. Don't forget that as a healthcare providers, we have the gift of giving. We are capable of finding that pleasure every day in our job. Everybody can be happy if they do something at work, and they can be proud because they achieved something at work. But do you know when they're gonna feel fulfilled? It is only when they do something for someone else. We only raise by lifting others. When you sacrifice to help others, believe me, what you give is gonna get back to you one day. Thank you all for your hard working, and thank you for listening. Be free to ask any question.
Thank you, Batoul, for this amazing lecture. So if anyone have any question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, they want me to put the MBI questionnaire again. Just 1 second. It's here.
I think we have one more comment also in the chat.
You're welcome.
We do have one more direct message from Dr. Abir Tajalli.
Yeah.
Any intervention for acute burnout prior getting to chronic phase?
Yeah, you can try to do the tips I've mentioned. This is like the first, like when you feel stressed, you can try the tips, all of them. You do them, and if not, you should see a professional. They will help you a lot. Actually, I've been to a psychologist, and he helped me dealing, like, even he taught me like simple coping mechanisms, stress coping mechanisms. I hope I answered her question.
Any more questions before we end the lecture? There is, we do have in the chats also.
What to do as employee when leadership is not working out the stress? Try to communicate. Communication is the key. Communicate how you feel with your leader. I'm sure they will do something. If they found out that you're burned out, they will try to help you to adjust the environment, to change. Like, if you're working in a clinic, you can change to work in another clinic, to change the environment, to change the people around you. Try just to communicate with the coworkers. It will help so much.
Also, Dr. Abir Tajalli, she asked again regarding the first question, any group activities that might help for the coping mechanism?
Yeah, for now, I don't have, like, I didn't see any like group therapies in Kuwait, but I'm sure there is. If we look around, we will find some.
Yeah, sure. I think we don't have any more comments or questions. So thank you so much, Batoul, for this amazing lecture.
You're welcome, dear. I hope someone gets any benefit of that.
Yes, it was so beneficial. Okay, so we are ending our lecture now. Thank you all for your attendance.